E.N.D here, day 7 for the spoilers of Murders at Karlov Manor. Leave me a comment below. Which is your favorite card spoiled so far? Mine is, without any doubt, the new god, the mole god. Anyway, let's start. And let's start with a big one, really big one. Conspiracy Unrevealer 5 and 2 blue, 6/6 with flying. You may collect evidence 10 rather than pay the mana cost for spells that you cast. Meaning that you can be tapped out and still cast your spells. Urgent Necropsy 5/1 black and 1 green instant. As an additional cost to cast the spell, collect evidence X, where X is the total mana value of permanent the spell targets. Destroy up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target enchantment, and up to 1 target planeswalker. I believe this can be quite useful. Forensic Engineer 2 and 1 blue, 2/3. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, investigate. Activated abilities of artifacts you control cost 1 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the mana in that cost to less than 1, meaning that you can sacrifice a clue and draw a card for only 1 generic mana. Case of the Neglected Feast, enchantment case. For 1 white, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. To solve it, you gain 5 or more life this turn. Solved. Sacrifice this case. Creature cards in your graveyard gain. You may cast this card from your graveyard until end of turn. And if you don't know how to play this new enchantment case, I did a tutorial explaining these enchantments, how they work. Leyline of the Guildpact 4 hybrid mana, green and white, green and blue, black and green, and red and green enchantment. If it's in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Each non-permanent you control is all colors. Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. Very strong enchantment. Lamplight Phoenix 1 and 2 red, 3/3, flying. When it dies, you may exile it and collect evidence 4. If you do, return it to the battlefield tapped. Sanctuary Wall 1 and 1 white, 0/4 defender, 2 and 1 white, tap target creature. You may put a stun counter on it. If you do, put a stun counter on Sanctuary Wall. Karlov Watchdog 3 and 1 white, 3/2 vigilance. Permanents your opponent control can't be turned face up during your turn. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Candlestick for 1 blue, artifact clue equipment. Equip creature get +1/+1 and has whenever this creature attacks survey 2. 2. Sacrifice it, draw a card, equip for 2. Glintweaver 5 and 2 green, 3/3 reach. When it enters the battlefield, distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2 or 3 target creatures, then you gain life equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Cease Desist, another split card. Cease for 1 and 1 hybrid mana between black and green instant. Exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. Target player gains 2 life and draw a card. Desist 4 and 2 hybrid mana between green and white. Sorcery. Destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Caught Red-Handed 4 and 1 red instant. The spell can't be countered. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. Suspected. Flourishing Bloomkin for 1 and 1 green, 0/0. Gets +1/+1 for each forest you control. Disguise 4 and 1 green. When it is turned face up, search your library for up to 2 forest cards. Reveal them. Put one of them into the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. Frenetic Scapegoat for 1 red, 1/1 with haste. Enters the battlefield suspected. Whenever 1 or more other creatures enters the battlefield under control, if it is suspected, you may suspect one of the other creatures. If you do, it is no longer suspected. Torch the Witness X and 1 red sorcery. It deals X damage to target creature. If X's damage was dealt to the creature this way, investigate. Behind the Mask for 1 blue instant. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you may collect evidence 6. Until end of turn, target artifact or creature becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/3. If evidence was collected, it has base power and toughness 1/1 until end of turn instead. Ally Silence 2 and 1 black, 3/3. Enters the battlefield tapped. Disguise 4 and 2 black. When it's turned face up, target opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. Griffnaut Tracker 3 and 1 white, 3/2 flying. Enters the battlefield, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. Offender at Large 4 and 1 red, 5/4 disguise 4 and 1 red. When it enters the battlefield or it is turned face up to 1 target creature get +2/+0 until end of turn. Riftbear Helium 5, 1 red and 1 green, 6/7 reach. Disguise 4 and 2 hybrid mana between red and green. Rot Farm Mortibi 3 and 1 black 3/4. Whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard, it gets +1/+0 and gains menace and lifelink until end of turn. Rubble Belt Maverick for 1 green 1/1. Enters the battlefield survey 2. For 1 green, exile it from your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, activate only as a sorcery. So that was the last card in this particular day 7 for the spoilers of Murders at Karlov Manor. Join me again tomorrow because we are going to have more spoilers for this Murder Mystery set. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more and more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.